Ladies and gentlemen, when you approach someone, the words you choose shape the energy of that interaction. The difference between ordinary and extraordinary lies in being intentional. Too often we default to phrases like, "Hi, what's up?" Simple, casual, and forgettable. But those words don't stand out. They don't create connection. They're placeholders for true engagement. Imagine if, instead of routine greetings, you used words that carried weight. Words that sparked curiosity, conveyed confidence, and made the person feel seen. That's how relationships are built. That's how opportunities are unlocked. The secret is simple. Be memorable, be meaningful, and be deliberate. When you start with, "Hi, what's up?" you're playing it safe. But safe doesn't open doors. Safe doesn't inspire. Instead, lead with interest. Lead with a question that shows you care. Lead with something they won't forget. It's not about being overly clever or rehearsed. It's about being genuine and present. Your words should make people feel like they matter. Because when you make someone feel valued, they'll remember you. When you show up with purpose, people respond. So stop settling for surface level interactions. Next time, use words that move conversations forward, build trust, and leave an impact. Those 3 words you choose could change everything. The default phrases like "Hi, what's up?" are everywhere. They're the go-to opening lines for countless interactions. While they may seem harmless and easy, they carry an unspoken message: indifference. These words are comfortable, yes, but they're also empty. They don't require effort, thought, or care. They roll off the tongue without intention, and that's exactly the problem. When you rely on phrases like this, you're sending the signal that the conversation doesn't really matter. It's just another routine exchange, and neither person is likely to remember it moments later. Words are powerful, but their impact depends on how they're used. "Hi, what's up?" may open the door to dialogue, but it does so without substance. It's generic, vague, and non-committal. It's the verbal equivalent of a shrug. Imagine meeting someone you admire or someone who could change your life in some way, and you greet them with something so casual and forgettable, you've missed an opportunity. The same applies in personal relationships, professional encounters, or even day-to-day interactions. The moment you choose words that blend into the background, you've given up your chance to stand out. People remember how you make them feel. A bland opening doesn't stir any emotion. It's neutral, and neutrality rarely leaves an impression. Think about it. When was the last time someone said, "Hi, what's up?" and it stuck with you? Chances are it didn't. But contrast that with someone who opens with something thoughtful, specific, or unexpected. That person immediately draws your attention and makes you feel like they genuinely care about the interaction. Their words set the tone for something more meaningful. The truth is, opening with "Hi, what's up?" keeps the interaction on the surface. It doesn't invite depth or engagement. It's a placeholder, a way to fill silence without really saying anything. And while it might work in passing conversations, it's not enough when the stakes are higher. Whether you're introducing yourself to someone new, reconnecting with an old friend, or speaking to a colleague, your words are the first impression. They set the stage for everything that follows. Choosing uninspired words is like showing up underprepared. It signals a lack of effort. In today's world, where distractions are constant and attention is scarce, standing out matters more than ever. And it doesn't take grand gestures or rehearsed lines to do that. It starts with being intentional. By avoiding empty phrases, you show that you're present, that you're paying attention, and that you value the other person's time and energy. This is where real connections begin. And connections are the foundation of growth, trust, and opportunity. So, while it might be tempting to stick with the usual "Hi, what's up?" because it feels easy and safe, recognize the cost of that choice. In doing so, you're choosing to fade into the noise of countless other interactions. The words you open with have the power to elevate or diminish your presence. Defaulting to ordinary phrases leaves you, in the moment, unremarkable. Being intentional with your words is one of the most powerful tools you have in communication. The words you choose shape how people perceive you, how they feel during the interaction, and what they remember about the conversation. When you speak with intention, you are deliberate about what you say, ensuring that your message reflects thoughtfulness, care, and purpose. This transforms even a casual greeting into an opportunity to create connection, trust, and engagement. Intentional words set the tone for how others respond to you. When you approach someone with sincerity and purpose, it shows. People are naturally drawn to those who seem engaged, present, invested in the moment. For example, rather than starting a conversation with a generic "Hi, how are you?" which often feels routine and mechanical, you might say something more personal or direct, like, "I've been looking forward to talking with you about this idea," or "It's great to see you, how's that project you were working on?" These openings show that you've thought about the person and the interaction, immediately making the conversation more meaningful. Intentionality also demonstrates respect. By choosing words carefully, you signal to the other person that they matter, that their time is valuable, and that you're not just going through the motions. It's the difference between speaking to fill silence and speaking to connect. This kind of effort doesn't require elaborate language or rehearsed speeches. It simply requires pausing for a moment to consider what you want to say and why can make all the difference in how your words are received. Moreover, intentional words have a ripple effect. They create an environment of openness and authenticity, encouraging the other person to engage more deeply. When you speak with purpose, you inspire others to do the same. Conversations become more dynamic, productive, and memorable because both parties are fully present and invested in the exchange. This is especially important in building relationships, whether personal or professional. The words you choose are a reflection of your character and values. And when those words carry intention, they leave a lasting impression. Being intentional also helps you avoid misunderstandings and wasted opportunities. When your words are clear and purposeful, they leave less room for ambiguity or misinterpretation. Instead of relying on autopilot phrases or filler words, you communicate directly and effectively, ensuring that your message is understood. This level of clarity can be transformative, particularly in moments that matter most, such as first impressions, negotiations, or expressing appreciation. Ultimately, the words you choose are a reflection of your mindset. Speaking with intention requires focus and care, but it pays off in meaningful connections and impactful interactions. It's a small change in approach that leads to big differences in outcomes. When you make the effort to be deliberate in your communication, you stand out in a world that often feels rushed and impersonal. Your words become a powerful tool for influence, connection, and progress. Leading with interest and care is the cornerstone of meaningful communication. When you open a conversation with genuine curiosity or heartfelt intent, it instantly elevates the interaction from ordinary to impactful. People can sense when your words are coming from a place of authenticity, and this recognition creates a deeper level of connection. Rather than resorting to hollow greetings like "Hi, what's up?" that lack substance, starting with interest shows that you value the person in the conversation you're about to have. Taking an interest in someone begins with noticing the details that make them unique. It's not about crafting the perfect phrase, it's about showing that you're present and paying attention. For instance, instead of starting with a standard question, you might ask about something specific to them. "How's that new role going?" Or "I remember you mentioning a big goal. How's it coming along?" These kinds of questions signal that you've been listening, that you care, and that you're genuinely invested in their journey. This intentionality immediately sets the interaction apart. Leading with care isn't just about the words you choose. It's also about your tone, your energy, and your nonverbal cues. A thoughtful question delivered with warmth and sincerity holds far more weight than even the most eloquent sentence said without emotion. People are more likely to open up when they feel safe, valued, and understood, and your willingness to show interest in them paves the way for that kind of environment. One of the most powerful aspects of leading with interest and care is its ability to foster trust. People naturally gravitate toward those who make them feel seen and heard. When you demonstrate genuine curiosity about someone's life, thoughts, or experiences, you create a foundation of trust that can lead to deeper connections. It's a simple yet profound way of saying, "You matter, and I want to understand you." This kind of trust building is invaluable, whether in personal relationships, professional environments, or everyday encounters. Another benefit of leading with care is that it encourages more engaging and dynamic conversations. When you ask thoughtful questions, you invite the other person to share more of themselves. This creates a space for meaningful dialogue rather than surface-level exchanges. It's not just about getting to know someone better. It's about giving them the opportunity to express themselves fully. In return, they're likely to view you as someone who truly cares about their perspective, which strengthens the bond between you. Ultimately, leading with interest and care requires intention and effort, but the rewards are worth it. It transforms interactions from transactional to relational, from forgettable to memorable. By showing genuine curiosity and focusing on the other person, you create a space where they feel valued and understood. This simple act of caring can turn even the most routine conversations into opportunities for connection and growth. When you approach each interaction with this mindset, you're not just speaking, you're building relationships, inspiring trust, and making a lasting impact. Playing it safe with your words may feel comfortable, but it rarely leads to anything extraordinary. Safe language like, "Hi, what's up?" or "How's it going?" may open a conversation, but it does so in the most predictable and forgettable way. These phrases are safe because they don't require risk. They don't push boundaries or show effort. They rely on autopilot communication, and while they may suffice for casual exchanges, they don't inspire deeper engagement, stronger relationships, or memorable moments. Safe language simply maintains the status quo. It doesn't create opportunities to stand out or connect on a deeper level. In a world full of distractions and fleeting interactions, safe communication gets lost in the noise. When you use generic phrases, you're sending a message that doesn't differentiate you from anyone else. It's not that these words are inherently bad, but they lack the power to make an impression. People won't remember the person who said, "What's up?" among the dozens of similar greetings they hear every day. However, they will remember someone who opened with curiosity, purpose, or warmth. Standing out begins with leaving the safety of predictable language and embracing intentional, meaningful words. Safe words also fail to convey confidence. When you default to generic language, it can make you seem unsure or unengaged, even if that's not the case. On the other hand, taking the time to craft an opening that is thoughtful or specific communicates that you are confident, intentional, and present in the moment. For example, instead of, "Hi, what's up?" you might start with, "I've been wanting to talk to you about something I read recently," or "I really admire your perspective on this topic. Can I get your take on something?" These openings carry more weight, spark curiosity, and immediately elevate the conversation. Risk-safe language also opens the door to opportunity. By being deliberate and stepping out of the comfort zone of cliches, you create moments of connection that wouldn't exist otherwise. Safe words are transactional, but intentional words are relational. They build bridges, foster trust, and invite others to engage more deeply with you. Whether you're networking, forming new friendships, or strengthening existing ones, choosing words that go beyond the expected shows that you're invested in the interaction. Furthermore, relying on safe language keeps interactions surface level. It avoids vulnerability, depth, and the possibility of uncovering something meaningful. While it might feel easier to stick to safe phrases, doing so robs you of the chance to create lasting impressions. Being willing to step beyond that comfort zone by asking meaningful questions or expressing genuine interest creates a foundation for deeper understanding and connection. The reality is that playing it safe with your words may protect you from awkward moments, but it also keeps you from extraordinary ones. Safe doesn't inspire, connect, or resonate. If you want to make an impact, you need to step into the risk of being intentional, thoughtful, and authentic. Words have the power to open doors, but only if you're brave enough to use them well. Making people feel seen and appreciated is one of the most impactful things you can do in any interaction. In a world where so many conversations feel rushed or superficial, the act of truly acknowledging someone stands out. When your words show genuine interest and care, they communicate a powerful message: you matter. This simple act of recognition has a ripple effect, leaving people feeling valued and respected, which in turn fosters stronger relationships and deeper connections. The way you make others feel starts with your approach. When you engage in conversation, it's important to move beyond generic phrases or passive exchanges. Instead of saying, "Hi, what's up?" which offers no real engagement, choose words that reflect thoughtfulness. For example, asking something specific like, "How's that big project you were working on?" Or, "I've been thinking about what you said last week. Can we dive deeper into that?" shows that you've paid attention. These kinds of questions convey that you've taken the time to notice the other person, which makes them feel appreciated and important. People are naturally drawn to those who make them feel understood. When someone feels seen, they are more likely to open up, trust you, and engage on a deeper level. This is because feeling appreciated goes beyond surface level compliments or pleasantries. It's about making a genuine effort to connect. For example, if you remember details about someone's life, ask about their passions, or acknowledge their efforts, you're showing them that they are more than just a passing thought. This level of intentionality communicates care and builds rapport. Beyond what you say, how you say it matters. Tone, body language, and eye contact play a significant role in making someone feel seen. A sincere tone and attentive posture reinforce the idea that you're fully present in the conversation. When your words align with your demeanor, they carry more weight and authenticity. Even small gestures like nodding in agreement or smiling at the right moments can enhance the feeling of being understood. Making others feel appreciated isn't just about what they gain from the interaction, it's also about the long-term impact on the relationship. When people feel valued, they're more likely to invest in the connection. Whether it's a friend, colleague, or acquaintance, showing them that you care strengthens trust and mutual respect. This is how relationships evolve from casual interactions to meaningful bonds. It's also worth noting that appreciation often inspires reciprocity. When you make others feel seen, they're more inclined to do the same for you. This creates a cycle of positive engagement where both parties feel valued and uplifted. Relationships built on mutual appreciation are not only stronger, but also more fulfilling. At the heart of it, everyone wants to feel significant. They want to know that their presence, their voice, and their efforts matter. When you make it a priority to acknowledge and appreciate others with your words and actions, you give them that gift. It's a small shift in approach, but its impact is profound. Words have the power to change everything. They can open doors, build bridges, and transform relationships. The right 3 words, chosen with care and intention, can be the difference between an ordinary moment and a life-changing one. Words shape how we connect with others, how we present ourselves, and how we navigate the opportunities in front of us. When used thoughtfully, they have the potential to influence and inspire in ways that go far beyond their simplicity. The beauty of words lies in their ability to convey meaning, emotion, and purpose. They may seem small, but they carry immense weight. Consider the power of a well-placed compliment, a heartfelt question, or a thoughtful observation. These are the kinds of words that make people stop and pay attention. They create a shift in energy and open up space for deeper engagement. For example, instead of saying something generic like, "Hi, how are you?" imagine starting with, "I've been thinking about your advice, thank you for that," or "I'd love to hear your perspective on something important to me." These statements are deliberate, specific, and designed to spark meaningful interaction. What makes words so powerful is not just their meaning, but their timing and delivery. The right words at the right moment can uplift someone's spirit, encourage action, or create an unforgettable memory. Think of how a few encouraging words from a mentor can instill confidence in someone who feels unsure, or how a well-timed expression of gratitude can strengthen a bond. The right words often carry more impact than we realize because they tap into emotion, and emotion is what makes communication truly resonate. The intentional use of words also signals clarity and confidence. When you choose your words carefully, you show others that you are present, engaged, and purposeful. This doesn't mean you need to overthink every sentence, but rather that you approach interactions with an awareness of the effect your words can have. When you take the time to consider what you say, it shows respect for the person you're speaking to. It also reflects a level of self-awareness and intentionality that others can't help but notice. The right words have the unique ability to linger in someone's mind long after the conversation ends. They leave an imprint because they evoke feeling, spark thought, or offer value. Whether it's through a question that challenges someone's perspective, an acknowledgement of their effort, or an idea that inspires action, your words can stay with them, influencing their decisions and how they view the relationship. Choosing the right 3 words isn't about creating a formula. It's about understanding the needs of the moment. It's about being present enough to recognize what the person in front of you needs to hear and bold enough to say it with authenticity. Words are tools, and when used intentionally, they have the power to shift the trajectory of a conversation, a connection, and even a life. The words you choose hold immense power. They can either open doors to connection, trust, and opportunity, or leave you blending into the background. By moving beyond generic phrases and speaking with intention, care, and curiosity, you set yourself apart in every interaction. When you lead with meaningful words that show interest and value for others, you create deeper bonds, build trust, and leave a lasting impression. The simplest shift from empty, habitual language to purposeful, thoughtful communication can transform not only how others perceive you, but also the quality of your relationships and opportunities. So choose your words wisely, speak with intention, and remember, the right 3 words spoken at the right time can change everything.